Picture this. A passionate founder happily spends months locked in a room coding and building an app. They pour their heart, their soul, and a huge chunk of their savings into it. Finally, launch day arrives. And then, crickets. No customers, no downloads, just a rapidly shrinking bank balance. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to make absolutely sure that never happens to you. The goal here is simple: to give you a definitive, proven blueprint that will save you time, money, and months of intense frustration when you're building a startup.
Now, I want to kick things off by challenging a really common myth. We all love to romanticize that magical eureka moment, right? But what if I told you that most startups don't actually fail because they have bad ideas? It's true. A brilliant idea all by itself just does not guarantee a successful business. Believing that it does, well, that's literally the first trap aspiring entrepreneurs fall into.
To really get why this happens, we have to face the brutal reality of the startup world. According to multiple ecosystem studies, a staggering 90% of tech startups fail. 90%. It is a harsh statistic. Whether you're a student, you're in an incubator, or you're an MSME looking to innovate, the odds are heavily stacked against you from day one. But the real question we need to ask is, why?
Well, here is the crazy part. A massive 42% of those failures happen for one completely avoidable reason. It isn't because of bad code, it's not lazy founders, and it isn't even a lack of funding. It's simply that there was zero market need for what they built. They spent months building a product without ever knowing if anyone actually cared.
And when you break down the top 20 reasons startups fail, right there at the very top at 42% is no market need. It completely dwarfs running out of cash, which sits at 29%, or having the wrong team at 23%. Building something nobody wants is the ultimate startup killer. Period.
So how exactly do we beat those odds? We do it by following a proven 6-step framework used by successful founders. 1. Why most startups fail. 2. Identify a real problem. 3. Master customer discovery conversations. 4. Market sizing and research. 5. Build small, test real demand. And 6. Iterate using customer feedback. This right here is your ultimate validation blueprint. Step 1. Why most startups fail, and the danger of assumptions. Building in a vacuum, relying entirely on your own assumptions, is the biggest trap you can step into. You see, founders get overly attached to their proposed solution. They basically fall in love with their own cleverness instead of verifying if potential customers actually experience the pain point they're trying to solve. Think about a real-world example like Google Glass. It featured absolutely cutting-edge, incredible technology, but they built it without validating widespread consumer demand first. And because that demand never materialized, its adoption was severely limited. They assumed, they didn't verify. Step 2. Identify a real problem. Fall in love with the problem, not the idea. This requires a fundamental mindset shift. You have to stop saying, I have a great idea, and start asking, what meaningful problem am I actually solving? The lean startup approach breaks this down into 3 critical risks that you have to answer to confirm you've got a viable foundation. First, is the problem meaningful? Second, are there enough people experiencing this pain point, like, say, traffic congestion or huge hospital queues? And third, will they actually pay enough for a solution to sustain a real business? Think about how Uber solved a genuine transportation problem, Airbnb solved affordable accommodation, and Zomato solved restaurant discovery. They started with the problem. Step 3. Master customer discovery conversations guided by something called the MOM test. To answer those big questions we just talked about, you have to get out of the building and talk to at least 30 to 50 potential customers. But here's the catch. It only works if you ask the right questions.
I absolutely love this comparison because it perfectly captures what the MOM test is all about. A terrible question to ask is, would you pay for this? Or, do you like my idea? People, especially your friends and family, will lie to your face because they want to be polite and supportive. They'll say yes just to make you happy. A genuinely good question focuses on past behavior. How did you solve this problem last time? Hypothetical questions just yield lies. Asking about past behavior? That reveals the absolute truth.
As you interview people, you've got to watch out for misleading bad data. Avoid compliments. If someone says, "Oh, what a great idea," just ignore it. It's useless data. Avoid hypothetical fluff like, "I'd definitely use that someday." And avoid their wish lists. The golden rule here is to observe their actions, not their opinions. Listen more, pitch less. Honestly, try not to even mention your specific solution during these early discovery chats. Step 4. Market sizing and research. It's time to find the patterns. Once you've uncovered a real problem by talking to people, you have to figure out if the market is actually large enough to sustain a profitable business.
Because you could have the greatest solution on earth, but if only a tiny fraction of people have the problem, the math just won't work. Steve Blank's method uses a descending funnel approach to estimate your pool of actual paying customers. You start big with the total available market. Then you narrow it down to the portion you can actually serve, the served available market. And finally, you define your specific target market. This is where you dig into Google Trends, industry reports, and check out competitors. And hey, finding competitors is actually a great sign. It means customers are already paying to solve this problem. Step 5. Build small, test real demand. We're talking about the MVP and the smoke test. Listen, do not spend months building a final, beautifully polished product when a really simple test will do the job. You want to create a minimum viable product, or MVP, to learn fast with as little investment as possible. One of the absolute best tools for this is a smoke test landing page. It's just a single web page that markets a product as if it's already built, specifically to measure genuine customer intent. It's an entirely ethical way to see if people will click a buy button or join a waitlist before you start heavy development. You're basically just testing if the machine turns on without catching fire.
Dropbox is a textbook, real-world case study for this. Cloud storage was a massive, incredibly complex product to build back in the day. So instead of building the whole platform up front, founder Drew Houston validated demand using just a short video explaining how it would work. That simple MVP drove thousands of signups overnight, way before the heavy, expensive coding even started.
When you run your own smoke test, you are looking for measurable actions of intent. Casual interest is not enough. You need to know if they have skin in the game. You're tracking clicks on pre-order buttons, email signups, paid pilot projects, or demo requests. Real intent is only proven when money, time, or an email address changes hands. Generally, you want to aim for at least a 5% to 10% conversion rate on your targeted traffic to prove you've got strong market pull. Step 6. Iterate using customer feedback. This is all about putting data over your ego. Your first version won't be perfect, and honestly, that's exactly the point. You have to handle the data you collect objectively.
Keep this definition in mind. A lean experiment is the smallest test we can run to validate an assumption quickly and cheaply. So if your smoke test gets 0 signups, guess what? That is not a failure. It's incredibly valuable, lean, scientific data. It's telling you to pivot, maybe reframe the problem, or target a different audience, which is way better than wasting your life savings building something nobody wants.
Look at how ridiculously fast this rapid validation framework operates. You are not spending a year hiding in stealth mode. In days 2 and 3, you're out there listening to problems. By day 4, you've built a landing page for a quick mockup. Day 5, you show it to the people you interviewed. And by day 6, you are directly asking for a financial commitment or a pre-sale. You can literally move from a wild hypothesis to genuine market proof in under a week. If there is one crucial thing you take away from this entire explainer, let it be this: revenue validates demand better than compliments. Polite opinions, hypothetical interest, a pat on the back from your best friend, those things will never, ever sustain a startup. Only real commitments do. Which leaves us with just one final question for you. Now that you know the framework, now that you know exactly how to avoid the deadly trap that kills 42% of startups, will you validate your next big idea before you build it? Challenge your assumptions, fall completely in love with the problem, and let real customer data guide your entrepreneurial journey. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.